3, 2, 1.
What's up everyone, Dan here, Crypto Capital Venture. Saturday, July 14th, 2018. I'm going to cover Litecoin in this video. We're going to look at the charts a little bit. I'm seeing some interesting things that we can track over the next couple days. We can relate it to Bitcoin charts briefly, so we're going to look at Bitcoin real quick as well. And let's jump in and let's do this. So we can actually start on Bitcoin just to kind of set the landscape for this video, which is to say, obviously I've covered this possible reverse head and shoulders in play on the Bitcoin chart. So right now we're in that second shoulder formation. So we need to break up through the neckline to confirm the reverse head and shoulders. So that's really a breakthrough like the $6,700 area on Bitcoin. So also, just for some context, I want to throw out there some indicators on the stock RSI as well as RSI. So you can see we've come down quite a way from that overbought area. We're kind of approaching that oversold area, which is a good sign in terms of a possible bounce off of this oversold area. And then lastly, I want to look at the RSI. If you've been watching my videos for a while, you know that I personally use this 40 line as kind of an area that I kind of look at in terms of defining or at least looking for bottoms and reversals, and as well as long-term on the daily chart bear markets. So usually when we're under the 40 line for a good amount of time on the daily, it's indicative of a bear market. And you can see Bitcoin, since February especially, has hung out under that 40 line quite often. Way different than what it looks like in a bull market run where it's pretty much never below the 40 line. So wanted to point that out. So right now we are showing some support at that 40 line. We kind of are turning a little bit of a bounce on that 40, which is good in the formation of this reverse head and shoulders happening as well. So I wanted to set the tone there by talking about Bitcoin real quick, but let's talk about Litecoin now in reference to what we just talked about. So real quick on the daily, I just want to point out stock RSI coming down on the Litecoin daily as well. Not as extended down to the oversold area as Bitcoin is, but still okay. Really what I want to talk about, which I found interesting on the 4-hour with Litecoin, is this. We don't have, on the daily, we don't have a reverse head and shoulders in play like we do Bitcoin. But that's not a bad thing, because we do have one in play on the 4-hour chart, not the daily. So what does that look like? You can see it there. There's the reverse head and shoulders. We have this first shoulder here. We have the head here. And then we have this possible shoulder like in formation right now, right at the neckline. So, and I know it's a pretty, that downward slope on that neckline is pretty downward. Just for reference, when looking for a reverse head and shoulders formation to form a bottom, right, of a downtrend for a reversal to form a bull trend, when you're looking at a reverse head and shoulders, mostly, especially traders, they're going to look for the neckline to be a flat neckline, or they're also going to enter above the neckline, even on a downward neckline. So right now you can see definite downward neckline, and it's pretty synergistic with that 50 EMA right there. So this area of like where that 50 EMA is of $78 to, I mean, really right where we are now, a little bit above that, is an interesting area for Litecoin right now to break through, to kind of get above this neckline. So, and there probably are traders out there doing this and looking for this to happen to enter long positions, or short-term long positions, I guess you could say. And at the same time, if they do enter a long position, they'll most likely enter a stop loss in this area right here, which is below the low of this second shoulder. That's typically the area you want to enter a stop loss if you're trying to trade a reverse head and shoulders. So that low right there is right around 75. So there's not a ton of room. This is a very small shoulder. But it's something to keep an eye on as we kind of are waiting for something to happen in regards to Bitcoin and Litecoin both breaking out. One thing in terms of Litecoin that I want to talk about also on the 4-hour is this. you'll see on the, actually I have another chart open, let's go over there. So you'll see on the 4 hour, the 40 line on the RSI. Again, there's that 40 line on the RSI. And what you'll see is we had that most recent bounce off the 40 line, showed some support, and hopefully we're starting to see some upward momentum in terms of Litecoin. And you can see on the 4 hour, you know, just in the last 4 days or so, we're getting these higher lows on the 4 hour with that final higher low showing support at the 40. That's a good sign in my opinion. And we can really compare that back to the second bottom we had right towards the end of that second bottom in April when we broke out, right? Everybody remembers we broke out. We eventually went to $180 Litecoin. But you can see I'm going to open up the RSI over there as well, right at that breakout. And what you can see happening there at that breakout is very similar to what is happening on the current RSI on Litecoin, which is to say you have these higher lows with support at the 40 line, and then there's that breakout up and to 180. So some interesting momentum indicators happening if you look deep into the charts and you look for some of these historical data patterns. And that's just what I'm seeing. These are the things I look for in terms of trying to locate a bottom. Obviously, it's impossible to, you know, predict a bottom, but there are some good indicators showing us some bullish trends, some bullish momentum. And I know it feels like we're trading sideways right now, but a break up at these levels could confirm some things. Number one, could confirm the Bitcoin reverse head and shoulders. And just to give you an idea of what we're looking for on the Bitcoin reverse head and shoulders breakout, to break that neckline and actually confirm this, I believe is around like an 8% run, or at least, you know, even if it's a slow move up to 8%, let's see. So around 9% to get to that neckline, and then it needs to break that neckline, break the 50 EMA. So, you know, a nice 15% day or two is kind of what Bitcoin needs right now to break that area and start showing some, you know, a bullish signal of an actual bottom here. What would that look like over at Litecoin? We can go to the daily on Litecoin. And actually, let's just go to the 4 hour since we have that up. So a 9% or 10, let's just say 10 to 15% on Litecoin from where the levels where we are right now would be obviously breaking that reverse head and shoulders neckline, and then, you know, really breaking previous lower highs on the 4 hour, which again, indicative of a bottom. So that's what we're looking for. In general, we're looking for a bull run of 10 to 15%, and something like that could be very good indicator of this bottom in play. Would it be a long-term bottom or a short-term bottom that we will break in a month or two? I don't know. Only time will tell. But right now, all we can do is track it, similar to how we were tracking this second bottom, and we were kind of just all over the place in this channel, and we had to be patient for something to happen. I remember right around this area, you know, a lot of people thinking we're going to just break down, right? Because we were already in this downward trend. And it's very similar now. We're in this downward trend. We're right around here. A lot of people think we're going down. But as you can see, anything can happen as long as we can get a break up back above the 50 EMA on the 4 hour. And then obviously we'll see what happens on the dailies. But those are my thoughts for Litecoin and a little bit of Bitcoin today, Saturday, July 14th. Let me know your thoughts. How you feeling out there? I hope you're doing well. Really appreciate you watching. I will see you in the next video, and God bless.